Next we've got Young Link, and this is specifically the Young Link from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. No using the previously mentioned horror games that counted for Adult Link, that's a different character. Thankfully, I already briefly mentioned one horror game that includes this version of Link, titled Remember.exe, made by, I believe, Sam Kirby Moyer. This game was taken down a while ago, so it was hard to find the OG creator. If I'm wrong here, please correct me in the comments. However, this does not fall into the unavailable category because you can still play re-uploads to this day. This was a creepy short horror game based on the Ben Drowned creepypasta, where you wander around for a bit, fight against the happy mask salesman from Majora's Mask, get crushed by a moon, etc. This game also apparently can restart your PC. It didn't happen to me for some reason, but I've seen it happen to others who play this one, so if you do decide to play this on your own time, have caution. Now, you might be able to make the argument that you're playing as Young Link since this is based on Majora's Mask, but he also just straight up appears a few times throughout the game. He's dead, but I mean, he's there. Now, since the original Ben Drowned story and ARG centered pretty heavily around Young Link, I think it's fair to say that Young Link played a big enough part in this game to count going by my rules. I may be stretching a little bit for this one, but oh well, what are you gonna do about it? Young Link joins his older counterpart on the horror game list. Still on Zelda characters, we've got Ganondorf up next. Now, even if I were to consider every iteration of Ganon, I honestly couldn't find anything. Now, once again, I could just be ass at researching franchises I know nothing about, but I swear I did everything I could. However, while I couldn't find any game downloads, going back to the horror game Zelda was in toadbup.exe, Ganondorf is actually featured in that game too. He's not playable or an antagonist, but he's shown towards the last part of the game dead, and the end of the game makes a pretty big point of it. Good enough for me. Ganondorf goes into the no longer available category. The ultimate life form, not that one. The ultimate life form, Mewtwo, is up next, and you best believe he's in a FNAF fan game. My tactic for difficult characters after Pichu was just to go through FNAF, so Mewtwo was an absolute breeze. He's a main antagonist in both Five Nights at Team Rocket HQ Reloaded and Five Nights at Team Flare HQ, which just kind of sits in the tube and will attack you at some point. I played both of these a hefty amount and I wasn't able to get him to attack, but hey, here's some footage of him doing so. My GOAT Mewtwo makes it into the has a horror game category. Up next is Roy, and sadly, he suffers from the Fire Emblem curse and does not have a horror game. He was one of my favorites to play in Smash Wii U though. Stand proud, Roy. Were strong. If Roy didn't have one, Chrom sure as hell doesn't have one. Chrom just immediately joins his better half and that doesn't have a horror game category. I'd say this is a great time to remind you to use code toadbup for 10% off at GamerShops. Go get yourself a tub or shaker cup today. It's what Chrom would have wanted. So Mr. Game & Watch is next on the list, and he was kind of tricky to search for. Do I count the character himself? Do I count any instances of a Game & Watch character in a horror game? Because technically, Mr. Game & Watch is a Smash original. He's just kind of an amalgamation of Game & Watch. For the sake of fairness and keeping things simple, I decided only to count the character himself. Even without counting only the character, Mr. Game & Watch was not featured in any horror games. I did find this one Game & Watch inspired horror game on Steam though, called Summer Night, made by Airdorf, the same creator behind Fate. Honestly, this may be one of my favorites I've played so far. It's simple, a really cool concept, and kinda creepy. Go check it out on Steam or itch.io if you have the time. Ending out our Melee reps, Mr. Game & Watch does not have a horror game. Now we move on to the characters from Brawl, and this one was kind of a mixed bag for me. Because like on one hand, you have more obscure characters like Pit or Rob the Robot, but on the other hand, you have people like Sonic the Hedgehog, which like, let's be real, what Sonic character doesn't have a horror game at this point? Starting off our Brawl journey is one of my favorites, Meta Knight. Now, originally I had him down as no horror game, but while I was writing this script, I was actually able to find a single one including him. Yes, I had to go with the FNAF fan game route. Don't hate me because I'm a genius. Nightmares with Meta Knight, or Meta Nightmares, was made by the Kirby Genius and is actually a fan game of a fan game. This was apparently based on the third Five Nights at Wario's game. Okay, spoilers for Wario, he has one, but a fan game of a fan game based on this guy is just so silly. Anyways, this game's just a demo, but thankfully Meta Knight attacks on the first night, trying to get into this living room area. Meta Knight joins the ranks of a horror game hazard. Next, we've got Pit, who surprisingly has an appearance or two in some horror games. Most of them aren't major enough to actually count, except for one. Kid Icarus.exe, made by Nicola DeRay, is a super short and super not good EXE game where you play as Pit, walk to the right for a bit, see Palutena dead, why did that rhyme? See Palutena dead, and then the game pretty much ends after that. No joke, this game is like less than 2 minutes long, but I mean, hey, I never said the game had to be scary or good. I am glad that this game exists though, because it does give Pit a horror game. Wait, where's the download link? Okay, this game unfortunately isn't anywhere online. I even asked Luigi Kid himself, but no, this game seems to be lost to time. Pit has a